Hi, welcome back to Plan Success Today. My name is Sal,
My name is Lou.
and today we're going to tell you guys a little bit about our background and our story of how we were not focusing and when we started focusing toward our career path, our business path, and our financial success.
Yes, it all started out with, in our late 20s. In our early 20s, we didn't really think about our future. Well, we did, but we weren't really focused on our future in our early,
Mhm.
early 20s. We started changing more towards our late 20s when we started realizing that, we need to start having something ready for us for whenever we retire or just, leaving something behind for our children.
Yeah, so in our late 20s, we were thinking about, our future already. We were never very, into, going crazy with the cars or, the amusement park and the traveling and the vacation. None of that was really amusing to us. I think, as I was growing up, my parent has taught me that, saving money is the way to do it. So I have always been saving money. My wife was the complete opposite. But I think in our early 20s, when we were, in our early years of being married, we still have fun. We
Mhm.
traveled. We enjoy our early 20s. But as we were getting older, I believe we realized that, hey, you know what? Our income isn't going to be enough for our future if we want our future to be in a different transition. And I think it all started in our late 20s when we met a couple. This couple is so amazing, and I thank God every day that they have came into our lives. Though that those people that know who we are, they know who this couple is, and those that don't, this couple is so amazing. Their financial uh, book is humongous. They have so much money, and I thank God every day that we met them. I met this gentleman when I was working at a bank, and he came in one day and he withdrew a $480,000 cashier's check. And from there, everything else is history. Maybe I'll talk to you guys a little about how I met the guy and how I met his wife. But man, we changed our life through that one interaction. But you have to be ready when an opportunity like that comes around. And you have to be open-minded about the situation. You have to be willing to learn. You have to be willing to absorb all the knowledge that you get from certain individual in life. And I think in that time in our late 20s, I think I was 28 or 29 and
Mhm.
you were about 27 or so, give or take. That moment really changed our perspective of life. We had two kids and we had the car, we had the house, we had the career. We just wanted more out of life because we were living in debt like everybody else. We were charging on the credit card. We were spending money from our savings account some month. We were doing stuff that every normal couple would do, the Jones would do, right?
Right.
And we were enjoying life. And that moment and that couple changed our life dramatically. And we still call them our coach every single day, even though we don't see them on a daily or even a monthly basis anymore. We still call them our coach, and they will always be our coach, and they will always be somebody that we lean on when we need financial help or we need financial decision in our life.
Yeah, so in our early 20s, yeah, we did think about our future. We just weren't as focused on it as we should have been. In our late 20s, again, we do thank God every day for this couple that has come into our lives that has helped us and changed us so much to, you know, get our focus straight, get us to where we wanted to go, to get to the right path of how we want our future to be. When it was just the two of us, we had our fun.
Mhm.
And, again, like my husband said, we grew up very differently. He grew up to save, grew up learning to save or, taught to save. I grew up where, I mean, it's not that I didn't grow up not saving, but I grew up with, not spending money, but
Spending money.
spending what
Yeah.
spending what you have because you don't know when you're gonna go, right? You can go tomorrow. I mean, you never know. And so it's like, my dad's philosophy was spend, you work so hard for that money, why not spend it now when you can? that was his philosophy. That's what I grew up on, which is total opposite of his. And so, you know, having one individual saving, having one kind of spending, it just, we had a lot of struggles. Uh, but over time, as we got into our late 20s and we started having kids, at the time when that this couple came into our lives, we had two kids. And then we started focusing on our children, focusing on, okay, we need to build a better future for them, financially, and just, responsibly, and being there for them, seeing them grow, because, we didn't, at the time, it was just the two of us, but then now with kids involved, we needed something better. We didn't want to live that paycheck to paycheck, waiting for the next check to come in so we can pay, or struggling like, oh no, right now we're going to have to use a credit card because we don't have enough, because next paycheck's not going to be until a week later. That's when we started kind of falling in with the Jones. But when this couple came into our lives, it just changed our mindset dramatically, changed the way we thought about life, the way we thought about our future, what we should have done when we were in our early 20s, while we were still, single, not single, but I mean, without kids, what we could have done. So they have helped us so much. They're always there for us whenever we reach out, we need something. We don't see them daily, but they're still always there. They're always there to coach us and guide us to the right path of where we want to go.
Yeah, and I think that's the biggest difference is that, I think in life, everybody needs a coach. If you don't have a coach, you got to go look for somebody who's willing to teach you the right, information so that you could go somewhere in life. And I have always thought about this is, that, if I look at somebody's lifestyle and I like that lifestyle, then that's the individual that I want them to coach me, right? But sometimes that individual don't want to coach you because they don't want you to have what they have. So you're going to have to go look for somebody who's willing to coach you. Make sure that individual is the person that you want to be. Because if it's your friend, the group of friends you're with now, most likely are your coaches. And they're not probably someone, or they're not probably the individuals that you admire their life. What I really think about when I talk about having somebody coach me is somebody who has to have the financial wealth that I want to have, someone who has the financial idea that I want to have, someone who has a lifestyle that I want to have. And if they don't have any of that, then I could become their friend. It's just taking advice from them is a little bit different because they don't have the same goals that you have in life, right? So when this couple came to our life, it dramatically changes us. But what changed the most is that they said, do you have the will to change? And do you have the desire of the dream that you really truly want to become a reality? So you have to have the will to change, and then you have to have the dream that you truly want, make or have that dream become a reality. And I think that's the hardest thing is that when people ask you, hey, so what's your dream? People freeze. People don't know what their dreams are. And if you don't have a dream, then you don't have an end goal. And when you don't have an end goal, you have no willpower to change. So I think these come to play. And I know when our coach came and talked to us about what our dreams are, we have a million things like everybody else. We want to be financially free. We want to have nice cars. We want to have a vacation home. We want to, we don't want our kids to go to work. Our kids could just carry our legacy of our own business. All of that. Everybody wants that. But what is it? What is it that truly drive you to wake up every morning? And we say bills, right? Because that's what truly drives us every morning is, oh my gosh, we're going to be late on our bills. And as we were younger, that was our drive, was to pay off our credit card debt, pay off our mortgage, pay off our car, pay insurance, and all that crazy stuff. But what we don't realize is that you're working so hard for a company and then you're paying all the bills. What about your future? And this is where this couple came to us and said, hey, you know what? You have to think outside the box. You got to start thinking for yourself. You could work your plan A job, but you got to have to do something on the side to help you escalate your life. And that's what changed. is that we started focusing on our future when they said, look, you need to do something more. I have always done something more. I have always worked 2 to 3 jobs every single day of my life. I never just work one job because it just I feel like I'm wasting my life. I only work one job. And she's right. She was a spinner. She's her family were spinner. I love my father-in-law to death, and I love my mother-in-law to death, and I love her side of the family. But it's just that growing up, being a saver, going into a family that doesn't save anything and living on the edge was really hard for me to transition. And and when this couple came into our life, they said exactly what I have always thought: delay gratification.
Mm.
And we never bought the nice, the nice watches. We never bought the nice shoes. We never, did anything crazy with our money because we knew that if we delay gratification and we invest our money now and our time now, we will become very successful in the future. And it depends on how fast you want to become successful. If you want to become successful slow, then take your money and start investing in slow, small growth, ventures. But if you want to, become very successful quick, you have to figure out what you want to do in life. And I think the willpower that you have right now might not be strong enough, and you might have to build that willpower to want to make that change, so you can start chasing after that dream of yours that you have. But what we don't realize in life is that there's a lot of things that hinders us. And we let go of a lot of those things that has stopped us from achieving great success in life, such as dropping friends that, were really negative and really toxic, from stopping playing video game or being on our phone so much, or from hanging out with friends all the time, or having barbecue every weekend, or things like that were all put on hold because we have such crazy drive for our success. It is just so unfortunately that my wife and I started so late in life. And I think, and it's not late. We started in our late 20s, but to me, that's late because I wish I learned all of this and I wish I met my mentor earlier. But I can't say that either because maybe my mindset wasn't there at the right time, right? So everything comes to play at a certain situation. And I'm just thankful that we have great mentors in our life. And this is exactly how we started changing our future. We had the right mentor. We started focusing on our dreams. We started delaying gratification. We started having the will to change, and we just don't stop. It doesn't matter if you lose friends along the way because you're gonna make new friends that are gonna be just as focused as you are. It's okay if you got family member that tells you you're such a workaholic. Why are you guys working so hard? You guys got to spend more time with your kids. And I'm gonna guess what? I want to tell them this. You know what? During the small amount of time that we spend with our kids, it's quality time. You know what I mean? You might be spending all day with your kid, but you're on your iPhone and they're on their iPad. That's not quality time. I'm sorry. So when we are with our kid, we are 110% with our kid. When we are working outside, we are 110% working. When we're building our business, we're 110% building our business, and there's nothing that's going to stop us. You got to have a drive to keep going to become successful. If you're in a situation where you're stuck and you don't know what to do, my advice to you right now is to look for a coach that's willing to take you to the right direction. If your coach is trying to absorb money from you, look for a coach that don't, because they're stealing from you basically. Okay, so look for coaches. They're out there. Tell them to give you good feedback. Tell them to tell you what's right, and where you want your life to go. But at the end of the day, it comes down to you as an individual. Do you have a dream? Do you have the willpower to change? And don't stop. Be persistent, and you'll do great in life. Well, that's it for Plan Success today. We'll talk to you guys next time.